What to do, Durag Nation? It's once again the best time of year to be a gamer. E3, Summer Game Fest. All the biggest game companies in the world will be throwing money like NBA players in Atlanta to promote their upcoming games. And thankfully, 2026 will be huge if you're a fan of superheroes. So today I'm breaking down every single possible superhero game reveal during the Summer Game Fest season, which runs from the end of May through the first half of June, covering the superhero projects we're guaranteed to see, as well as ones that could show up based on previous rumors, leaks, and their expected release dates. So if you're looking to add more superhero games to your backlog, Hulk smash that hype button to share this with more superhero fans, but if the video was trash, please leave a dislike. Starting with my most anticipated game of the entire year, yes, more than GTA 6 and Wolverine, Undefeated Genesis. This is the highly anticipated sequel to the indie Superman simulator created by 3 college students called Undefeated, which you can play right now on PS5 and PC for free. Thanks to the success of the first game, they now have enough funding to make a higher budget sequel where you play a hero that's basically Superman and all your favorite shonen anime characters combined, soaring through a massive open world alien planet, protecting civilians and beating up monsters. I was devastated to learn that this game has been delayed to early 2027 for more polishing, but the guys over at NDS Games softened the blow by dropping a brand new trailer while promising another new announcement during the summer. They also set up a booth at the Bit Punch Summit, allowing people to once again play a demo of Undefeated Genesis, which they previously did during the Tokyo Game Show. Undefeated Genesis is launching on PS5 and PC, and I highly recommend you support the game so Warner Bros. Stops being dumb and realizes they need to make a Superman game. The new release date should be between January and March, which is fine. I've been waiting nearly 20 years for a modern open world Superman game. I can wait a few extra months. The wait is easier because of the amazing games still dropping this year, like Marvel's Wolverine. Thankfully, this wasn't delayed, and we are in fact getting a brand new reveal during the Summer Game Fest season. Insomniac and Sony announced that Marvel's Wolverine will be the star of an upcoming PlayStation State of Play on June 2nd, which Sony is treating like an actual PlayStation showcase. Not only is the show more than 60 minutes long, Sony is having a watch party for it in theaters with Alamo Drafthouse. Wolverine is said to open the show according to the PlayStation blog, and this appears like it will once again be an extended gameplay showcase like they did for their previous Spider-Man games. Last time Insomniac was at a PlayStation event, they dropped a short gameplay trailer as well as a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the game. This time I expect around 12 minutes of unedited Wolverine gameplay, allowing us to preview at least one of the game's missions. There's a good chance we'll also see new costumes and get pre-order information. Though it's possible they do what they did with Spider-Man 2 and save the pre-order drop for Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest live show. Also, based on the size of the state of play and how much is being hyped up, it's very possible Insomniac reveals 2 games like they did during the 2021 PlayStation Showcase. And that second game would be Marvel's Venom. After that evil cyber attack hit Insomniac, fans found out they had been in early development on a spin-off game starring Venom. Miles Morales' voice actor Najee Jeter made headlines when he said on a podcast recently the Venom game he'd been shown was canceled because of the tragic passing of Venom's voice actor Tony Todd 2 years ago. But this report was debunked by award-winning Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, as well as reports from other developers and news site MP First, who last year had a source at PlayStation reveal the Venom game was still in development with an expected release date of 2027. If that date holds, a reveal at this PlayStation event makes a lot of sense. The game is rumored to star Eddie Brock instead of Harry Osborn, with Carnage potentially appearing as the game's main villain as a result of Insomniac canceling the Spider-Man 2 Carnage DLC following that hack on the studio. The game is said to be closer in size to Miles Morales, which would explain how they would be able to release it 1 year after Wolverine. That and Insomniac are also just goated and put out games faster than every AAA studio. I can't wait for this game, and I think it'll be an instant classic. But there's another big Marvel game we could see during Summer Game Fest at a showcase for Sony's biggest competitor, Xbox. Marvel's Blade was first revealed at the Game Awards, and I've been hyped ever since. The game is being developed by Xbox studio Arcane Leon, the developers of Deathloop and the Dishonored franchise. But while Wolverine is confirmed to be a PlayStation exclusive that PC players won't access, Blade is expected to be another multi-platform Xbox project releasing on both consoles and Steam, joining Starfield, Battlefield, Halo, Fable, and the new Gears of War E-Day. Blade is a single-player action RPG that will be Arcane's first attempt at a third-person action game, and the art so far looks very promising. According to financial documents, Blade is expected to launch in November of 2027, so there's a very high chance Xbox brings Marvel's Blade to the June 8th Xbox show, since the new CEO, Asha Sharma, will want to make a great impression at her first showcase as Xbox's new leader, and the company currently has nothing they could show that would get fans more hyped than Blade besides Elder Scrolls 6, which is probably 8 years away from release. I'm expecting a world premiere Blade gameplay trailer showcasing the Daywalker hunting vampires in Paris with the game's rumored morality system that they're porting over from Dishonored. Do not sleep on this game, it's going to be massive. A game I'm just as hyped for, but less confident in seeing, is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. For the second year in a row, Summer Game Fest is the last chance Skydance has to reveal this game before they have to delay it once again. Rise of Hydra is of course the World War II story-driven action game starring T'Challa's grandfather as Black Panther and a young Captain America as they reluctantly work together to stop Hydra and Red Skull. The game was originally supposed to launch in the holiday of 2025, but was delayed to early 2026, and then delayed again on the same day GTA 6 announced their second delay. But no new date was given, just that it would be later in 2026. Rise of Hydra has still not released any footage besides the tech demo story trailers, which are still the best graphics we've ever seen in a video game. Gameplay from a pre-alpha build leaked last year, which was very impressive, but if the studio doesn't release an actual gameplay trailer this summer, we can assume the game is being pushed back another full year, which would actually have fans even more concerned about the game being canceled. Fortunately, the studio is owned by Paramount, who, at least for now, seems to have plenty of money to throw around, so the game is probably safe. If it's not delayed, they will probably target December to avoid GTA. Hopefully it shows up during the 60-minute state of play. If it does, then that would make at least 3 Marvel games we'll be seeing at this new PlayStation showcase, the other being Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. This game is probably guaranteed to show up since it releases in August. Sony has been promoting the game a lot lately, revealing new playable heroes, Magic, Penny Parker, and Shuri's Black Panther, as well as releasing a line of comic books based on the game, which revealed another potential new hero, Moon Knight. Doctor Strange was previously leaked as a playable hero by IGN, so it's possible Sony reveals these 2 heroes as well as one more beta test so players can experience more of the new characters before launch. I'm not a huge fighting game guy, but I'm definitely looking forward to picking it up for the long single-player story campaign. But it's not just Marvel games we have potentially to look forward to. Fans have been begging for new updates around the highly anticipated The Wolf Among Us 2, the latest narrative adventure game from Telltale. It's been a pretty rough development cycle, with the studio nearly closing down and the game being delayed multiple years in a row. Back in March, Spanish news outlet Press Over reported The Wolf Among Us 2 had been reworked and was being co-developed with a studio based in Argentina. They say the game is now scheduled to release in 2027, with a new reveal happening in 2026, which has a good chance to be during the Summer Game Fest season. The announcement will also reportedly include a next-gen release of the original The Wolf Among Us on the PS5 and Xbox Series. I never played the original, but I would grab the PS5 version in a second. I was never a Telltale fan until I played the superhero game released by former developers from that studio, Dispatch. The smash hit from Ad Hoc was my favorite game of 2025 by far, and one of my favorite games of all time. The workplace action comedy starring Breaking Bad's Aaron Paul as a former superhero, basically their universe's Iron Man, who takes a job at a dispatch center surrounded by romance options. While his suit is being repaired, he has to get a team of former villains to work together and be proper superheroes. The game was an unexpected hit and one of the best-selling games of the year, guaranteeing the indie studio would have all the funding they need to not only stay open, but make more Dispatch content, with by far the most requested being a season 2 that continues the story from where it left off. The devs promised early in the year to have a discussion about their season 2 plans and would reveal to their fans what they're going to do later on. Summer Game Fest would be the perfect time for them to pop in once again to announce a Dispatch season 2, as well as the other game they reportedly have been working on. I will, as the kids say, be seated for whatever Ad Hoc is cooking up, along with my official Dispatch coffee mug. It's not just new games or sequels we have to look forward to. We could be getting reveals for remasters of classic superhero games as well. Previously, a leaker at Activision revealed the company was planning some sort of revival for the Prototype franchise. This was originally going to be an open-world Venom game based on Spider-Man Web of Shadows, but it morphed into an original superhero game about a man named Alex Mercer who gets infected with a virus that grants him superpowers, including the ability to shapeshift. According to the leaks, a third game in the franchise is being planned, as well as remasters of the first 2. People who doubted the leaks quickly changed their mind when Prototype received a surprise update on Steam, which added new information for the end credits that included a new platform it would be released on, and the name of a popular remaster studio that Xbox and Activision previously used for Tony Hawk 3+4. more. So it looks like, at the very least, we're very close to a reveal of the remaster, but hopefully the announcement also includes plans for the sequel. Joining Prototype is a game that originally released nearly at the same time as the original Prototype, but went on to be much more successful: Infamous. This is one of PlayStation's most beloved franchises and Sucker Punch's most successful before they dropped Ghost of Tsushima. But the studio's creative director confirmed he was excited to go back to Infamous with new games and re-releases of the original trilogy. And now that support for Yote is finished, the studio may be doing just that. But we also got a report from VGC that PlayStation was already planning something with Infamous that didn't involve Sucker Punch, which is likely a remaster. And that makes sense. Sucker Punch only works on one game at a time, so they would be doing a brand new Infamous game and outsourcing the remaster to somebody else. An Infamous 1 and 2 remaster announcement would make a lot of sense for the upcoming State of Play, since we know Sony loves doing these, which makes their decision to close Bluepoint even dumber. But all will be forgiven if this is one of the reveals during the June 2nd PlayStation show. But Sony's biggest op, Xbox, could be revealing their own classic superhero games. A few years ago, fans noticed that the old Activision Transformers games had been relisted in the store, but weren't for sale yet. This was followed by a report from reliable insider Nick at the Xbox Era podcast that Microsoft was working to get back the license for Deadpool and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Before being bought by Xbox, Activision released a bunch of Transformers and Marvel games back in the day, but they were removed from digital stores after the license expired. We've seen a lot of classic Marvel games being released lately, and it looks like Xbox thinks it's worth bringing back some of the fan favorite modern classics rather than the purely retro arcade ones, which I'm all for. Deadpool and Ultimate Alliance are fantastic games, and seeing them again, especially with a remaster, would be a huge win for Xbox that could help take some of the attention away from Sony's 60-minute State of Play. But a game that could steal the show during Summer Game Fest, even from Wolverine, is a project we've been waiting on a trailer for since it was first revealed in 2022, Marvel's Iron Man. Back then, leaks came out that EA had 3 single-player Marvel games in development, with the first 2 based on Tony Stark and the Black Panther. EA confirmed in a press release announcing a 3-game deal with Disney to produce at least 3 Marvel games. Black Panther was an open-world game using the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor, set in Wakanda, where you could play as 4 different characters, including T'Challa and Killmonger, who were trying to stop a Kree invasion. But the game was canceled and the entire studio got shut down. Fortunately, EA confirmed Iron Man was safe. Marvel's Iron Man is a single-player open-world action RPG being built in Unreal Engine 5 by the developers of the Dead Space remake, Motive Studios, who also helped work on Anthem, so we know at the very least the flying in Iron Man will be perfect. Unfortunately, the game hasn't gotten a trailer yet, as development was slowed down by EA forcing its studios to help with Battlefield 6. But Iron Man should still be on track for a 2027 or early 2028 release at the latest, based on the fact the game was in the playtesting phase about 4 years ago. So I think we should definitely get our first trailer for it this year, hopefully during Summer Game Fest week. It would be a huge reveal at either the June 2nd State of Play or the June 5th main show. DC fans feeling left out might be in luck, as they have another game that could possibly be making an appearance, Injustice 3. There have been a lot of rumors about this game, especially after creative director Ed Boon confirmed they were originally going to make Injustice 3 instead of MK1. In addition to voice actors yapping too much during conventions, MP First recently found a developer at WB who revealed on a resume that they had been specifically working on Hogwarts Legacy 2 and Injustice 3. I can easily see both games getting revealed, especially since WB is tying in the Hogwarts sequel with the upcoming HBO Max Harry Potter show in December. It's probably too early to get a reveal for the new Batman game Rocksteady is working on, and I'm not expecting James Gunn's DCU game to get announced until 2027. But there are several unannounced superhero projects that could be making surprise appearances this year and during the Summer Game Fest week, including the shocking return of Marvel's Avengers. Click the video on screen to learn more. And a huge shout out to everyone supporting me on Patreon. Join for free so you never miss an update.